I'm Geoffrey in World of Tanks. I'm checking up the modifications. Made this tank, I expect, more accurate at the expense of other things. And I am going over some of the battles that I had accidentally recorded a few weeks ago at the end of November 2024, before holiday ops. They were mostly when I was playing the Batchat 155-55 SPG, the French SPG, which I had bought recently during Battle Pass because I had run out of other SPGs to play, and as you remember, I had injured my hand. My right hand could not play any other type of tank I tried. At this point, I was improving. I was doing physiotherapy. You see at the end, I'll be playing the Achilles tank destroyer, which was a new one I bought. And I have strong views about this tank destroyer, so I'll go over it. There isn't anything special necessarily about these battles. I had just accidentally recorded them, so here I was pre-aiming. I accidentally recorded them, and so I'm doing the commentary. So on this map, I pre-aim in this kind of area. This bit of advice. Of course, advice changes every year or so because everything in the game changes. Now I have a lot of fantasy tanks and changes to the map, so all things don't apply. Here I hit where I was pre-aiming. It was a blind shot, which very often happens. Nowadays I almost get no assist at all, so a lot of the time my damage with SPGs is just from direct hits and basically from blind shooting, since my teammates aren't contributing often very much. It is only accidental sometimes if I get some assist, stun assist, at say one of two battles. It's just because it was the last tank and people didn't want someone else to steal the kill from them, so they shot him even while he was stunned. But a lot of players are so selfish, they would rather spot for themselves and not shoot a tank that's been spotted by someone else. Others will not shoot a tank that was tracked by somebody. Others again, they will not shoot a tank that was stunned because they want all the damage themselves. I find it's just ridiculous. And I'm fairly sure this happens because of the younger players who are all for themselves and they are full of themselves, and they watch a lot of these comics where one hero kills everybody, and they haven't discovered teamwork yet. So we lost that flank. I tried to support them. I shot a couple of times where the heavies were, but they were overwhelmed. The middle is still holding. We have a lot of strength in the west. So here I'm preparing to shoot the approaching heavies. They're moving fast. The Selma is potting, but it's dead. This looks like a landslide defeat. A runaway defeat. There's not much we can do. Just preparing for a last shot. Like a shot gunning of whoever turns up, and and one last shot before I die. Okay, didn't even have a chance for that. He was moving too fast for my slumbering, slow beast of a tank. So 411, still have 4 tanks left. The enemy has lost 4 tanks, we have 4 tanks left. I do not remember these battles, I am just doing the commentary. Because I have them. So down to 3 tanks. I don't know if I had been making this game, if we would have made it this way. With creative assembly games, you have the option to retreat, save your tanks for another battle. In this case, what's the point of fighting? Creative Assembly is a genius company. It's just the things like the graphics and some other things. The multiplayer is more difficult. That have let it down. It's also a company for an older, audience. That's how we call them. An older set of people who are more interested in strategy games as opposed to first-person shooter games, which seems to be all the rage in the last 10 years, maybe more. And consequently, any company who would like to make a strategy game just doesn't have the financial incentive to improve the graphics, improve the game to this kind of level of graphics. And does it have AI? Well, there is some AI actually, it's not so bad, but does it have an AI that is catching up over time? They still have the old AIs from Rome or before. From Rome too, I mean. So in this map I go to this side. Basically I go wherever I can on a high spot, and on a spot that has the greatest number of possible firing lanes. So there's usually these impenetrable mountains. So I try to minimize how much area of the battlefield they cast a shadow on, and be in places where they do not cast shadows, where one cannot shoot to critical parts of the battlefield or very large parts of the battlefield. So it's a kind of strategic sort of placement where you put your SPG, not necessarily in the safest place, but it's a combination of being safe at the same time as being at a high vantage point, and 3, minimizing the kind of protection enemy tanks can get from these huge mountains. Okay, that was a good hit. So it looks like we are winning on the side where the heavies are, so I'm switching my attention over to the other side. Here the plan is the follows. You have 2 two kind of areas to shoot at very often. The area where we have the most friendly tanks, hoping we might get some assist by, some stun assist. The other option is to shoot where you have the fewest tanks, and especially if the enemy has a lot of tanks there, and that is so as to slow down the advance against a weak flank. Now, the chances are you or I are not going to get a lot of assist if I do that. Here we have a good chance to get some damage on several tanks. Here I was upset and went nowhere near where I was aiming. The difference is that I think it pays the long run. So if you support the flank that is strong and the flank that is weak loses the fight, then they'll be at the base and you're exposed and you'll die quickly. Of course you can run away, but while you're running away you're not shooting. So the other option is if you support the weak flank, and the weak flank kind of slows down the enemy a little bit longer, it means the battle will last longer, so you have more opportunities, you'll be safer longer, so on, in an SPG. So you have, that was a kill. Whatever it said in French was good. She sounded happy as well. So it pays off to support the weak side, even if you don't get so much stun assist. And I'm gradually switching over to not using the rounds with the very high stun, but use the rounds that have less stun, more damage. Because my teammates, this is becoming a trend. My teammates will not shoot stun tanks. I have recently, especially the last few days, I don't know if it was because of Klaus Kellerman's video where he revealed this behavior, but the last few days it's like almost nobody shoots a stun tank, and it's almost like no point of stunning anybody. I don't know if I just have bad teams the last couple of days. But I almost get like 0 stun assist. I may have 2,000 damage or 2,500 damage, even in like tier 7 or tier 8 SPGs. 0 stun assist. Really 0. I'm not exaggerating. That missed. And I'm not even shooting the low stun rounds. So a stun is becoming, sometimes it's so hit and miss. You get no support, and the range of stun seems to be so small. There are so many new types of equipment that would reduce the effect of stun, that stunning becomes almost, sometimes, at least in some battles, for some reason, it's like a lost cause, a waste of time trying to stun enemy tanks. This isn't one of those battles. Was that a kill? This is, wow, that was a good hit. So in this case, I'm getting stun assist. There were battles in SPG where I got 600 spotting assist, where the top light got maybe 1,500. I got 600 spotting assist, but 0 stun assist in an SPG. Okay. A shot arrived a little too late. That was spot on. But, okay, the last enemy is trying to zigzag his way out of this tight spot, but he's surrounded. What's the point? Why can't we retreat? Some of the choices of this game are quite frustrating. Why can't he surrender or something? What's the point? Surrender or retreat? The only point is that somebody will shoot a helpless tank, and it look like he's a better player because he got more damage. This guy was surrounded. It doesn't make you a good player that you're shooting at a guy who has nowhere to go. This whole thing is a lot of the options in this game is are just stupid. Now this map. If you're in a tank destroyer, where do you go? I mean, the furthest you can be from the enemy is about, 300 meters? Some tank destroyers were supposed to shoot from 2 or 3 kilometers away. I made a suggestion in one of Klaus Kerman videos. If I have the code, feel free. I create a version of the game. If Wargame will give me the code, I'll create a different version of the game and see which version players like the most. I make the opportunity for the two teams to deploy infantry in the cities with anti-tank weapons, with magnetic mines, lay-down mines. They can put them anywhere they like. There's one obvious bush per side, so they can put a few mines there. And in the cities, they can put the infantry with the anti-tank weapons, like in real life. Why not? Have people not been invented yet? I mean, what is the point of having tanks and not having people? Have some infantry in some of these places. If a tank takes refuge here or in this other village, the infantry can throw some magnetic mines to the tank when it's close to the houses. What's this thing? Okay. Well, I got him, but he didn't die, unfortunately. So let's see what happens now. Will my teammates shoot him? Team. Okay. I mean, if he's doing that, he's not a very good player. To just risk his tank he managed to get through. I mean, there is that. He managed to get through somehow. I wasn't reloaded. I just reloaded when he was... Yeah, okay. We killed him anyway. I just reloaded just as he rammed me. Or I rammed him. So as I was saying, we have these tanks fighting around corners like cowboys in the cities. Normally in the cities there'll be infantry, a lot of infantry. That's their perfect environment. And, they wouldn't just be here with napkins. They'll have anti-tank weapons and grenades, hand grenades, and magnetic mines and booby traps. And the tanks will not have a chance in the city environments. And that's why they weren't sent into cities. All the tank battles were out in the open as possible. Okay, we're losing. Well, if a team is not able to stop a tank from reaching our base unobserved, it's not a team that can win a battle. It's not very likely to happen. I mean, the guy who just risked his tank just to kill the SPGs, he's also not a very good player. So if he managed to get through the middle of the battlefield, through the entire team, imagine what our team is like. And so that was one of the changes I was proposing to make. Every team, 15 tanks, would get 15 opportunities to select infantry or mines or booby trap or something, and place them in a strategic location. And then we have a more realistic game. So that will be one of the changes. The second change would be to make the maps 5 times bigger. You can keep the houses the same. There's probably a code for the houses, so you can keep the houses where they are, not change, but the ground, the landscape, will become 10 times bigger. And if you have some areas which is just landscape and no houses, it's fine. No problem. Tanks could shoot for a few kilometers. I was in the army. I had a rifle. I could shoot for a few kilometers. I was taught. I was aimed. I had to shoot several kilometers away, or had to estimate the distance, what it was. How many kilometers away something was. I mean, we can do that. You can fire a few kilometers away with a rifle. Of course you could do it with a tank. They're not meant necessarily to shoot 50 meters away. So make the ranges that tanks could shoot. 3 versus 315, so 3 to 15. So it was obvious our team was not great, and the enemy team was not great, so our team was awful. So make the landscapes bigger, make the range much greater for the tanks, the guns. Put additional units in the battlefield other than tanks. Tanks would not have been invented without people, so where are the people? And these are the 3 changes I think I proposed. I think it will make a much more popular game. I'm certain it will make a much more popular game. The only difference maybe you could argue is that battles might last longer. And therefore, there'll be less income. Because people will not be spending stuff every time you enter battle. You load equipment and so on. So if battles last longer, there will be less spending. There is that. But if people like the game more, I think they will play more. I mean, the other thing, that was not one of my proposals, but I think it would be nice. That was a good hit. It would be nice to have nation versus nation, like an all-American team versus an all-Russian team or all-German team or whatever. Ideally historical, like not Americans versus Russians, but Americans versus Germans, British versus Germans, Russians versus Germans, maybe British versus Italians in North Africa. And that, I think, would open up the game for some strategy. I mean, there are these maps we have here and there. That was a good hit. I'm aiming mostly at where there are more than one tank. It doubles the chances of causing something, some damage, some stun. So I already have more than 1,000 stun assist. Less damage, more stun assist. This trend of people not shooting stun tanks was only been appearing the last few weeks, I think. And after Klaus Kerman's video, it's been amazing. Like, nobody shoots a stun tank. So another aspect of strategy is that there are these maps you can kind of, whatever they call it, you can kind of cover some area, and if you lose, you retreat or whatever. But it's at a weird level. There aren't actual battles. It's just some sort of clan level where you lose some area as a clan, but there hasn't been any battles actually defending that specific area in that area. There's just some kind of aspect of the game that isn't really playable. It's just something you see on a map, artificial. Here we have a good chance of hitting, hopefully, 2 tanks at once. If I can place my shot where I want it, here would be good. Yes. Okay, I only hurt 1 tank. So if you could actually play on a map that has, like, it's a large map, a little bit like okay, got him before I could shoot. A little bit like those very big maps where you can, fight for half an hour, and you move from map to map. If you have something like that on a very, very grand scale, and you die, you don't have to enter battle again. Someone else can take your place, and the battle continues. Other clan mates or whatever can take place, or some friendly clan, and the battle continues. And then when you have a chance next day, you see what the situation is, and you enter battle. Try and help your team, your set of clans, friendly clans, and maybe you spend like this a few days, and you're always, let's say, fighting in German tanks, and the opposite side is always Russian tanks, let's say, British tanks. I think that would be much more fun. And then if your set of clans wins, that would be great. You feel good. Contributed to a kind of team win. But you really need to have a team spirit to have these kinds of games, which means you need older players, like more than 50 years old. I don't know what the demographic is, how many of the players are more than 15 years old, how many are younger. I suspect that maybe 50-50. But that's just a guess. Hit! Oh, come on, we killed it. Okay, 15-5. So that's the reverse of the other battle. It was a landslide on our side. Huge amount of assist. More than 2,000. By experience, somewhere in the middle. By damage, probably not so good. Still sticking with the butt shot, 155-55. Okay, I don't want to continue spending, I guess, on the accuracy or... Yeah, this is a tank that has a turret, so I could potentially change and put this one on. A steady hand would be interesting. I do have the rotation device though. shooting and the move? No. Okay, I think I'm gonna stick with this. I'm checking the difference it makes. Wow, that definitely reduces the bloom during move. Might be worthwhile, actually. That's an interesting idea. Okay. Increase the standard modification. I'm thinking of getting one of these two. Basically, if it makes no difference, this has both a turret and a hull, so it's not really worthwhile buying one of the two. But if it makes no difference on gun handling, then I ignore it. For SPGs, gun handling is the main thing. Okay, here I'm again voicing my frustration. Now you could very easily put a few mines in this thing. If there was a battle going on, the first thing anyone would do is put mines underneath in this place, or booby trap it, or whatever. Put a couple of guys with anti-tank weapons, hiding in some corner. As soon as a tank passes by, boom. Or magnetic mine. It's stupid to have a fight in a basement, a tank fight in a basement. I mean, that's just ridiculous. Like, even the most dumb commander would have done that. And why pick a fight in the place with all these mountains? Why don't send some infantry here? All these rocks and things. Send some infantry with grenades. Why do you send tanks in this kind of place? The whole point of a gun is that a cannon is that it can shoot kilometers away. You don't put a cannon in a tank so it can shoot 50 meters away. You can throw a grenade if that's what you want. That was close. He moved, possibly has that special skill. Artillery alertness, or whatever it is. Oh, that's a good target here. Let's hope for some splash damage. Okay, the FV 1004 was not splashed, or was it 2004, whatever it is. The this giant thing was not splashed. Blind shooting. Complete miss. How can he go dark when he's visible? There, but he's visible behind the bushes. Is the tank so low? It's a bit strange. Or is the guy who's spawning him dead or falling asleep? Doesn't want to get assist. Spotting assist. Here's a good target. Could have been better. Still quite close. It's very exceptional. We're 3 minutes into the game. Each team has lost only 2 tanks. Nobody there, probably. He stopped. 18 hit points of damage. Someone shot a track tank. Maybe the guy who tracked it. There's an autoloader. Barask? That tracked? Could be. Don't stop now. Ah, spot. Perfect. Perfectly timed retreat. He got away, as if he knew. Oh, this could be double time. Oh, he ran away. Oh, I didn't even kill the other guy. I was hoping for damaging both tanks. Didn't cause any damage whatsoever. And he got away. Just blind shooting. A lot of the time, that's all. That's most I can do is blind shoot. Or that's what SPG players can do in some battles. Okay, so now we're definitely winning. In long battles, the people who contribute are not so much heavy tanks, but the other classes. Light tanks, SPGs, of course. and overall older players who are less impulsive. Missed, but I think I tracked him. No, I didn't. Just tapped him. He had a very good tank to go into the basement if you wanted. How can the gorilla be full HP almost? I only lost some HP when this guy rammed him. Finally he's dead. So the T30 should have gone, no, it's the T, whatever it is, E3, E5, whatever, T110, E something or other. Similar to the T30. It should have gone into the basement. I don't know why he's out there. If I was him, anyway, I would have done so. So, it wasn't too bad of a battle. 15-9 is fair. I did some damage. Very little assist from the look of it. And for a tier 9 SPG, could have been better. Okay, it looks like I've done some extra assists for some reason. People were blind shooting tanks that I had stunned, and I thought there was also more damage, which is usually the case. That what you see during the battle. So now I'm going to switch over to the Achilles, where I put Winnie, whatever, one of the actors, the guy from last year's Holiday Ops. Winnie Jones, something like that. So I put him in this tank because I wanted to put him somewhere and I didn't know what tank to put him in, but this tank is absolutely useless as a TD. Is worse than most tier 5 TDs, but it's at tier 6. By this I mean it has a worse gun than most tier 5 TDs, but it's at tier 6. So you might think, okay, it has some other advantage. It has armor. No, it doesn't. It has nothing. It can spot, but any tier 6 light tank can spot better, because any tier 6 light tank has more concealment. And some tier 6 light tanks have a better gun than the tier 6 tank destroyer. So this is, I vote it as the most worthless tank in the game. For tier for tier, or if you compare it to other tanks in the tier, there's nowhere a tank it should be a tier 5, and even then they're better tier 5 tanks, but it is actually a tier 6 tank. So I'm going to move the crew of this tank and try to put him somewhere else. Maybe where the 2-barreled British heavies are in the game. Maybe I'll move the tank over. I don't like British tanks very much. And I'm surprised. Oh, look, even the gun I lost. And I was spotted. Just useless. Skill has ranked it yellow, which means average. If this tank is average, please tell me which tank is not average. I mean, even if it was a tier below, a tier 5, it would still not be the best tank destroyer for tier 5. There'd be better tank destroyer than this if it was a tier 5. And the only thing it has is good spotting range. Its gun, the pen of its gun is about 105, and if you shoot gold, then it becomes 112 or something, or 114. Yeah. What can you pen 114 at tier 6? Especially if you're fighting your bottom tier. But even same tier tanks, like let's say armor that a KV-1 has, which is a tier 5 tank. Wasn't spotted back here. No, come on. Missed. Hit the dirt. I feel he's just trying to spot and he's trolling us because people are shooting him and revealing their positions. So far, the only thing I've done is spot. I don't want to shoot because, I'll do him 100 damage if I shoot. And then my position will be revealed. One artillery and one arty shot and I'm dead. Being open-topped. Okay. 20 more shots and I'll take this guy out. 20 more shots on the side. Oh, fuck. Forgot it was a rocket tank. Forgot that.
We might as well be shooting pillows at 'em.
Absolutely. 20 more shots. I need 20 more on the side. Oh, bloody hell. Someone's shooting me. Cowards. Gotta fight a proper tank. I mean, I'm shooting the top tier heavy, and you're shooting the bottom tier glass cannon. How is this fair? Okay.
We've been outplayed and outclassed.
Well, we certainly have been outclassed. There's no question about that. We're like playing with tanks which are practically 3 tiers above us. Okay, and so that was the last battle. That's my opinion about the Achilles. Don't get this tank. So I managed to do a little bit of damage. I even did some spotting. And third in the team by experience. Is that ridiculous or what? Thank you for watching.